days, sitting sideways, boys in the days, sitting sideways, boys in the days. On a Sunday night, I might bang me some games, sitting sideways, boys in the days, sitting sideways, boys in the days, sitting sideways, boys in the days. On a Sunday night, I might bang me some games.
It's Paul Wall, baby.
It's the people's champ. I'm something like a bowler. The candy paint dripping out for the old school Impala. I'm with that big bank Hank, that Poppy Joe and box trunk bump like chicken pox.
Turn the bass up just a notch. Man, we all sitting sideways with these bye weeks, man. My team is looking dusty. Like some dudes I was never expecting to have, but that's what it's like every year, man. Welcome to the BYPOCOLYPSE, where your team is nothing like what you started out with. You're picking up dudes who you never heard of before. You're picking up rookies. You're trying to fill in your roster spots. You're trying to make sure you have a quarterback. It's crazy out in these streets right now, but you know what? We're all going through it. It's the BYPOCOLYPSE. Welcome to it. You just got to get through it. So, haven't done the podcast in a few weeks here, man. Life, you just get busy with life and you don't want to put a garbage podcast after. And plus, I didn't want to continue just do the same thing, going over the scores and such, because I think by now you have an idea of who your team is and what your team is capable of at this point in the season. We are going into week 7 right now. This is Thursday. This is a Thursday night game tonight, Denver versus Cleveland. Typically, I don't like playing Thursday night players simply because you're going into those days, Friday and Saturday, with, whatever points your dude got for you on Thursday. Sometimes it really isn't pretty, and you don't really want to go into your weekend looking at, 3 points from 2 different players. You know what I mean? Like, total of 6 points from 2 different guys. Man, that sucks. So I tend to not try and play players on Thursday night, except if it's a must-play player. Obviously, if Kansas City and you got Patrick Mahomes plays on Thursday night, you can play Patrick Mahomes. Just saying, if it's not a priority, typically I don't like to play players on Thursday. I like to load up for Monday night. Because you never know who you might need to get you some points. Even though Monday can be as bad as Thursday, because, Monday nights aren't guaranteed to be a high-scoring game just because it's a Monday night. It's just more so for insurance purposes. I like to have maybe a defense in there. I like to have maybe my quarterback go in on Monday night and round up the rest of the points that I might need to get the win. It's just a combination of that. Right now, we are in the BYPOCOLYPSE, so you have to look at not dropping players that you will need for the future. Not, betting the farm for a week or 2 during the BYPOCOLYPSE and dropping players that you will need in the future. It's not a good look. You definitely want to just put them on your bench, if they got the bye. You do have to fill in your roster, of course. So that it can get tricky. We are sitting there out there looking to improve our teams to fill in our roster spots, but make sure you're not doing it on the wrong side of things by dropping a future player for a player that's only going to be on your team for a couple of weeks. So, and the future players obviously are your starters, people you've drafted right at the beginning of the league. You don't want to drop your star players. Obviously, everybody knows this, but it's more so just a reminder. But yeah, man, it's been fun. I've been having some. I've been up, I've been down. I see everybody at 3-3, like co-commish Raymond said. There are a lot of 3-3 teams right now. We are going into it, but people are making their moves that they need to make. People are paying attention, which is definitely good. I do want to say maybe we should do a little bit more trades. If you do pop a trade up in there, again, within 24 hours, that trade should be processed. So keep some patience out there when you do a trade, because, it'll get done. Don't worry about it. It'll be done within 24 hours. Co-commish has powers to do that too, which is Rainman's. He has the power to go ahead and approve trades. So there's 2 of us that'll work on it. I'll probably remind him just to let him know if he sees something pop up. Go ahead and get it approved. If it's not super crazy and outrageous, we'll go ahead and get that approved for you guys. Going through these past couple weeks right now, top of the league, we have sitting pretty at number 1 is Team Big Goobs, who is at 4-2. Last 2 weeks, he's won both of his games, so he's sitting up top at number 1. He's moved up 3 spots. At number 2, Team Kneel Before Rome times 2, a 2-time winner. He is up 3 spots at 4-2. AZ Cowboy Fan is at number 3 at 3-3. Team PW12 sitting at number 4 at 3-3. Team Seahawk and You Bitches is at number 5 at 3-3. Team Coming for the Crown came up 3 spots, also at 3-3, won his last 2 games. Kung Fu Garza 9 is at 3-3, sitting at number 7. The Sad Flu Clan is down 5 spots. 5. I'm down the most out of anybody in the league, at number 8 at 3-3. Last 2 games I've lost. Team J Swint also down 2 at 2-4, sitting at number 9. And Team Rainman's at number 10, down 4 spots at 2-4. My drop from negative 5 spots was simply because Kung Fu Garza, I believe, was at number 10. He beat me and jumped up a lot of spots. Maybe he was, let me see where Kung Fu Garza is at real quick. He jumped up 3 spots. So he was at number 10. Beat me, came up 3 spots, dropped me down 5 spots, put a whooping on me too. He had like 225 points on me. So those are the current standings, but we have a long season. This is only week number 7. There's like 12 more games to play. So it's 12 more weekends to have some fun, some barbecue on the weekends, you know what I mean? Some wings and things, some beers, and a lot more football to come. So I encourage you guys to enjoy these weeks, man, going into the wintertime, wearing the sweats, having the windows open, having the door open, let the breeze in, and turning up that football hella loud and screaming, letting your neighbors know, you know, you're into the season. I know basketball just started, but, you know, personally, F basketball until playoff time comes, and then even then until, you know, after the Super Bowl. To me, it's football first. You know what I'm saying? So I know that started, but you know, we're coming up into the thick of the football season. We are still semi at the beginning of it. A lot of teams can still do some work. A lot of players can still do some work for your team to get you some wins. So I encourage you to keep looking into improving your team. Like I said, we're all in the middle of the BYPOCOLYPSE. It goes down every year, man, but I think this year is probably one of the worst I've seen, simply because of COVID still being out there. Some players getting put on injury reserve or the COVID list, and then just players being straight up hurt. A lot of players, a lot of calf injuries this year. It's been crazy. So with that being said, you know, always still look to improve your team. Make sure, you know, that you're paying attention to what's going on, paying attention to players that are being dropped, paying attention to players that are trending up, and then also looking ahead at your opponent, man. I can't encourage that enough, because it is definitely important to look ahead, see who your opponent has that they're playing, and you know, maybe you can make some moves against, maybe your running back is better than two of their running backs, you know, and you can look at it and say, okay, my running backs are good. I might have to make somebody run 2 tight ends, basically is what I'm trying to say. So for your flex position, so say you have a good running back that can possibly beat their 2 running backs. Maybe in your flex position, you want to look into adding a wide receiver, because we did open up that flex position, which allows for you to have both, you know, a wide receiver, running back, tight end, and then you can also obviously run your regular tight end. But then again, also the wide receiver, running back positions are open as well. So, you know, we are running a little bit different this year. We don't have a kicker, so you have to think about that as well. Think about, you know, I run 2 tight ends sometimes, because them tight ends are guaranteed, depending on who you have, to get a touchdown at least near the red zone. So that's how I like to play it. But it's important to pay attention to who you're playing, and then judge some of your moves based off of who you're playing, because it's really a matchup centric type of deal, right? Where we're looking at the matchups. Really, we're not necessarily looking, because regular football is is just regular football. We're talking about fantasy football. And in fantasy football, you're looking for points. You're looking for people that are going to get the ball, get you some points, because it is, again, 1 point per reception. It is also half point for quarterback completions. So when you see those big numbers coming from the quarterbacks, it is also because they're getting the half points. We did change it from 1 point per completion to half point just to bring the quarterbacks down to earth a little bit. But they're still out there getting them completions, man. Tom Brady is out there scoring points for people. Lamar Jackson is scoring points for people. Kirk Cousins, man. Kirk Cousins gets a lot of completions in some games, and he's not even necessarily a player that people play, but you might have to play him during the bye weeks. He has a bye week right now, but you might have to play him, coming up. So you want to look at those things as well. Definitely the quarterback position. I think the tight end position is definitely important. Obviously, running back, wide receiver, important, but I think also defense, man. I spent 30 of my fab on the Cardinals because the Cardinals score points. Cardinals are playing against Houston this weekend, so I'm hoping this pays off a little bit for me, especially coming up in the bye week where I was looking ahead because I was like, okay, the bye week's coming up. I didn't realize how bad you don't realize how bad the BYPOCOLYPSE is going to hit you until you're in it. So with that being said, I was looking ahead. I was like, dang, I got to make sure I get a good defense. And the Cardinals, man, score some points. So the Cardinals will basically, for me, hopefully, what I'm planning on is that the Cardinals, for me, score the points that I would normally get with my starters. But now that I have to run some, players that you never heard of type deal during the bye weeks, I'm hoping that my defense makes up for that. So that's something you definitely want to look into. I know some of you guys have quarterbacks. Both your quarterbacks are going to be out during the same week. So, you have to look into getting a new quarterback. You just have to juggle your team right now to make sure it's the best that you can make it. You just definitely want to make sure that you're running a full team and that you're not filling in your spots that need to be filled in. We don't have kickers, as I mentioned earlier, so you will have to dig for some players, and you're going to be digging for some players that you've never heard of before. But it is what it is, and just remember that everybody's going through it. The important thing is that you want to do is make sure that you have players on your bench that are possibly going to get the ball. Like if it's a rookie, obviously, just as an example, the Cleveland Browns have both their running backs out, Kareem Hunt, which hurt me because Hunt was my guy in another league, and then Nick Chubb is going to be out this week, so they're running a rookie and a backup dude. So, when you look at that situation there, you're running a rookie. I'm running a rookie in as a running back in my other league, I believe, and I'm just hoping he'll get the ball since Nick Chubb and the other dude are out. You know what I mean? So just looking at those specific situations that everybody has, you're always going to have a specific situation that you're going to have to look into and address, and you're just going to want to make sure that you're putting somebody in that position that's actually going to touch the ball, not somebody that's not going to touch the ball. Because it's not worth having somebody in there that's so down on the depth chart or so down on the rankings that they're probably never going to touch the ball. You want to put the dudes in that are possibly going to get the ball due to their situations. So we're all going through this BYPOCOLYPSE, but try and make the most of it and try and get your wins and don't give up, especially for those that are all 3-3 right now. You definitely want to get out of that 500 position there and move up and get above that 500. Going back to the league, let's see. Big Goobs is at 4-2. Nobby Ferrum is at 4-2. And then pretty much everybody else 3-3. And then the bottom two are at 2-4. So definitely during the BYPOCOLYPSE, during the next couple of weeks, we've already had this past weekend as a BYPOCOLYPSE. This week and then next week are going to be tough for your teams. So as a commissioner, as a team owner, you're going to have to look at your team and make sure that you're not giving up good players just because you're trying to get through these weeks. But at the same time, you have to manage your team enough to get you through the weeks and hopefully get you at least one win, out of these next two. Because if you get two, hey, great. that's the best outcome. If you've been winning, if you won last week and you win these next couple of weeks during the Apocalypse, hey, more power to you. Great job in putting your players in that you need, and then making sure that you're not dropping starters in the future. But hey, if you do, I'm gonna be there to pick them up. Trust me, I'm watching. But just wanted to drop off this podcast real quick. Hope everybody has a good weekend. Stay up. Pay attention to the Thursday night game. It's gonna be worth it fantasy football wise, because a lot of people do have Browns players. I know some people have the Broncos players as well. So hopefully it's a good game tonight, and then definitely some great games on Sunday. Definitely going to be chilling, sipping, and then of course Monday night we'll wrap up Week 7 for us. But my Niners are back and playing this weekend, so I'm hoping we get a dub because we haven't seen one in a while. And hope everybody has a good weekend. Commish, the league, I'm out.